Alright, so I just tried out the Adobe Flash recorder, at least in Linux and in Firefox, and it's working. I don't know what magic I've done to get it to work, but just for anybody that's curious, it's Firefox 30. This might not be news at all, but to me it is. I've never done it before, but I'm still going to use GUVC viewer for video to do. So what I'm going to do today is go over some additional. This is like a journal of me attempting to port things, whether successful or not. Time will tell. On some of them, I know I haven't been successful, so I've had to cheat. I'm just going to go through what I've done so far, and maybe eventually someday I'll learn more. But also maybe I can get some other people started, or just in parts of what I'm doing here, give someone an idea if they're trying to work their way through a certain port of an application. Maybe it'll help them, maybe it won't. So that's the deal. I happen to have this book. Just because I have the book, don't take it as though I'm an expert at the book. I've probably read, maybe the first third of it and understood 90% of the first third of it, which is just a basic review of how things get compiled. But when it comes to some of the more complicated things, I don't know if I really have because I'm not a programmer. So if you want to, but as a side comment, if you want to know or appreciate how difficult it could be to port applications over in an operating system, Haikuos is a perfect platform. Also, just to comment, the folks at Haiku have done a beautiful job at re-implementing the B operating system. There are things in here, and this book was written in 1998, as far as I know. There might be a date there somewhere. If not, well, it is 1998, as far as I remember reading somewhere. Anyway, I don't see it, but I remember, there it is, 1998. There it is, 1998. There are still things in this book that still hold true to the B system. And what that means is they've done a very good job of recreating this operating system. A very good job. What do I mean specifically? I'm talking about things that I've complained about in the past, which I'll probably still complain about. Of course, my viewpoint may differ than... Well, I first of all, I don't have the skill to make the changes. So, it's hard to complain under those circumstances, but I wish the B file system supported hard links, and they've re-implemented the B file system exactly that way. I wish that the B would allow for people to have a user directory. It's exactly the same thing. There's a lot of things I wish that they had. And there's some things I'm just not quite sure why they didn't work in the first place. But there are some things that I've actually found answers to that I may have found by accident or by just happen to go down the right trail or whatever. And I'm going to start with zip30. Sorry, zip 3.0. I've already installed this over here. What I'm gonna do is uninstall and make clean, then I'm gonna show what I've done. I have, one thing I didn't do, which may not have much value anyway, is there was a make file for one of these packages I just did the thing on. I think it might have been, actually might have been OpenSSL, so I have the start of a make file that kind of works until you get to certain places. And I also got a better idea of what might be going on in some of these cases. So having said all that, let me just start up the B operating system. I'm just going to be doing this once in a while because I have some free time. Okay. So here's Haiku. And I'll just do a summary of what I found out inside of when I was compiling zip30, and all I know is it compiled. Do I know that everything's great, the world's great, and I did the exact right thing? No, I don't know that, because I don't understand the code. But I do know it compiled, so I don't know if what I'm going to point out is an issue, or there's something else I should have done, or what. So again, this is a learning experience, but I'm getting some experience seeing some of the more esoteric and deeper parts of operating system engines inside of Haiku, and attempts to get very low level and unexciting programs to compile, such as zip30, which a lot of people take for granted. And they may even have already ported over here in Haiku Depot. zip30 is probably on the way to the path to some, something like Thunderbird or Firefox or something like that. Or I may have just picked it randomly, I don't know. So, okay, so the summary of it is this. There's a file, and from what I've read in this book, of the little parts that I have, over here in the system directory, under develop, there's something called the headers file, and these are the POSIX headers. I gather from what I've read that if the operating system doesn't have these things, or can't use these things correctly in the larger sense, not as, well, that one has an error, you're not POSIX. I don't know if it's about that. Just in general, Haiku attempts to do POSIX as the B operating system did. And there is a file down here called types. And they're actually POSIX, is it sys? Yeah. This file right here, if I don't edit this, which of course I won't be able to because it's read-only, but if I don't edit this and go down to, in fact, it'll just say general system error. If I don't go down to this line and I don't get rid of this word local and that word u, I won't be able to compile zip30 because an error will come up. And so how did I do it? It's read-only. Well, I copied this file over to the zip directory after it failed in package source, because it downloads it and puts it in there. Sorry guys, using package source, just what I want to do. I want to break new ground. I don't want to redo stuff that people have already ported. Doesn't help. And plus, I just want to learn, and I want other people to learn too. So, if I can, I hope I don't miss-teach. But so anyway, I'm going to keep doing this, and when I find mistakes, you'll see it. So because I know I'm not perfect at this, so I can't erase it here. This directory, the whole system directory, is read-only. Which you could argue is a good thing for security. I mean, it's kind of hard to root an operating system which the kernel's read-only, or the drivers are read-only, but anyway, that's a whole other debate. I don't think it's worth making it difficult like this, but anyway, that's just my opinion. But the fact is, you can't edit that directly. This file is found in boot system develop headers POSIX sys. It's called types.h. It's called a header file. And what a header file does is it provides certain definitions that are standard and expected to use by a lot of different programs. So in the program source code, it'll call this header file. I'll say include the contents of the header file in my file that I'm making. And so all the definitions that are in it go with it, and the functions and the way it's put together, go with it to the program, and then end up being part of the overall recipe that makes the program become an executable. Alright, so I have installed, I'm going to use the package source package delete command to delete zip 3.0. Then I'm going to make clean, which I would have explained in an earlier video, but you'll see me do it. So that way, make clean basically cleans up all the source code and start over again. But first you have to delete the package or else it won't clean. So this is more like a NetBSD thing, but yes, package delete has been ported over to Haiku. Whoopty. So this is, I might be able to go with zip. Okay, so zip should be gone. And I'm going to go to do my go thing that I've done, and on an earlier video explained how to make an alias. Go is the alias for change directory package source. Package source, there's a reason why I have the double package source. That's the first video I did. Alright, then I'm going to change directory to archivers, because that's where they put it, and it's called just zip in there. Right now I'm going to use bmake clean, and this is an alias also. Bmake. Actually, since this will take, well, it's done already, but I'll just stop. There's a file inside. If you look up bash profiles on Google, if you don't want to watch the first video I did because it may be scattered, it's an hour long or something. If you create a file called .profile, and let's do a flash of it, I guess, here. I got plenty of time. I want to do this every single time. I'm basically saying, if I type bmake, treat it as though I'm typing boot home package. This is in a folder called .profile. So if you just populate it with these kinds of things, and you put the equivalent command in single quotes after an equal, it'll do what you want. Okay, so here I am in zip. I've made clean, I've uninstalled the package, so there should be no source code there. So let's just go through the process of what would happen. My alias for make install is do, so I'm just going to do it. The source code's already been downloaded, so it's just going to grab it and try to compile it. And it should fail with some missing definitions or whatever you... I've been calling them function calls. I don't know if they're really actually function calls. Overall, what I'm trying to do is, with my very, very little understanding of this system, the big picture, what I'm trying to do is near impossible. So, at this stage, I mean, to compile zip30 is not impossible, but to compile all the packages I'm going to need to say to get to Thunderbird or Firefox or something like that isn't going to do much. I'm probably not going to get that far. Maybe before I die. And then I'll just be, so anyway. I may quit at some point. So this is saying, this was really difficult to trace, but this was basically saying that, if you could see this, damn it, my hand is stuck in there. I know I'm either getting really old or really tired. Because, oh right, why do I need to leave anyway? Okay, this was difficult to trace, but basically, oh yeah, I wanted to check to see if actually I'm getting this on camera. Whoa, hold mirrors. Okay, Haiku, sucker smaller. This even visible? Yes, it is. Okay, so in this set here, it's saying that this file called osdep.8 at line zip30 from an include file is affecting all these other files here, I think. And it's causing an error. It's saying there's no semicolon at the end of a struct or union, some kind of parse error. I don't even know what a struct or union is. I don't know what a parse error is, so good luck to me. But I do know what a header is. Okay, so the next thing I did to get this to work is I went over to, how did I figure this out? I looked at the osdep.h file, and I looked at the headers that were included in that file. In fact, maybe I could do that before we just get on to the answer here. Those that just want the answer, please be patient. Okay, so we got package source. You can skip ahead. But I can't tell you where I'll end up. Let's go to archivers. Here's zip. Now, in package sources is the work directory. Now, if you just downloaded the source code, this work directory, actually, this directory right here would be the directory that you had downloaded and unzipped. All the rest of the stuff is just stuff package source likes to do. Okay, there's a folder called Unix, and here is the osdep.h file. Open it with P or whatever. Go down to line 30. And here it's saying that there's a folder called types.h that is an assist directory. And so I just decided, you know what, maybe that could be it. Maybe that's the reason why this osdep seems to be at the end of the chain, or the beginning. This is what starts the, this is the first error, then everything else fails after that. Seems to be the bottom card in the house of cards that was misplaced. So I'm going to put the card back into place. And I just thought to myself, well, maybe I should just see if I try to do something with this header file, if, I'll solve it. It was just going to be a lot of trial and error for me. I assumed that this would compile in another platform and not have this kind of error, because I've seen it. I probably have compiled zip30 in NetBSD recently, and it didn't do this. So something is missing, and I didn't think it was the code, because of course it would have failed in NetBSD. But what's more germane to the operating system but the header? So let me explain what this include actually does. At least I've started to figure out what it does. Is that there is a file called types.h that is actually in a, at least according to the authors, it will not pull the information from types.h unless it's located in a folder called sys in wherever place, and however, I don't know how the compiler knows that the system has the headers in wherever it is in relation to that. Right, this, because there's a main directory, and inside that directory there should be a folder called sys, and inside that a file called types.h. So if I go to boot system, develop, and headers, you're not going to find a sys folder, but you do find it here. So in this case, this is calling from header files from the POSIX directory that's in boot system develop headers POSIX. Inside sys, there should be something called types.h. but I'm stuck. I can't edit that. That's read only. Well, that doesn't matter. So I go File, Copy, and I'm going to put it where I would like it, which in this case will be the same directory as osdep.h. Then I'm going to edit this with PE, and as I explained earlier, don't know why, just based on trial and error. If I got rid of this, if I click on the pill, I'm able to read it. If I get rid of this local and this little U here, and I save it, and I also edit osdep.h, and instead of calling types.h from the POSIX directory in my system, after I mark this not read only, I just put quotes around the sucker. That tells C that I'm looking for a file called types.h, and it's in this directory. So I save it, and I run it again. And guess what? It installed.